So if I would like to begin, my first question for you is, what led you to start your business and why taxes? Why are you passionate about taxes?
Okay. So, what led me to start my business and why I continue to start my run my business is has changed. Okay, so I had originally started my business in 2014, and I had started my business as a backup. Just like, I was working for someone full time, and I wanted to be able to still, like, if something was to happen to my job, if I was to get laid off or anything, that I would still be able to sustain myself financially. And also to blaze my own path. Because, if you work for somebody, they kind of give you like limited roles and responsibilities, or you're restricted to, to whatever job title they want to give you. So that was a part of my business. My purpose for starting my business is I wanted to be able to sustain myself and also to blaze my own path. And I love tax law. It's ever changing. It keeps me on my toes, and also I just really love, helping people. So when I started my business in 2014, I started as, like I said, just as a backup plan. So I was also working full time when I started my business, and then also like I started off like really just serving, family members or like friends. I started promoting my business on Facebook. So I really just served like everybody. And so with the different tax law changes, it had given me some like opportunities with the Tax Cuts and Job Act. They had cut out a lot of the deductions that were available for individual taxpayers, and they had opened up a lot of different tax saving opportunities for business owners. So then I pivoted to where I was serving mainly business owners. So that's why I started my business, just to, to sustain myself. And then also my mother was a very strong influence in my life. She was an entrepreneur. She also did taxes too, but that wasn't her main thing. My mom was a hustler, but she was a realtor. She was a realtor. That was her main thing. That's how she made a living. But she was dabbling into like taxes, property management, everything. So unfortunately, I lost my mother 3 years ago. I lost my mother 3 years ago, and then that just really forced me to just really think about like, what journey that I wanted to take in my life, and then also my business. And I was like, okay, I have this business, but I only been operating that part time. I think it's time for me to take a leap and to bet on myself, and then also I get to I also get to create my own legacy of entrepreneurship, and I get to run my business and also help other small business owners. So I have my own legacy, but then also get to continue my mother's legacy. So that was like, I started my business to sustain myself, and I continue to run my business to help small business owners while creating, my own legacy.
So with that foundation, which is great, I'm so glad. I'm a mompreneur, and my daughter is always, are you still working? So it's great to hear that left an impact on you and helped you blaze your own trail. So were you a sole proprietor at the beginning, or did you establish your LLC?
So so I officially started my business in 2014, but before I officially started my business, I was still I was doing taxes on the side, but not as a official business. But when I decided that I wanted to make a business out of my business, I invested in my business right away, where I formed the LLC in 2014. I applied for the EIN number in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I opened up a separate bank account for my business in 2014.
Yes.
So when I decided hey, it might be a side business right now, but I'm going to get the foundation in place. So that's what I did all that stuff in 2014. And I didn't go full time with my business until 2020, last year, COVID.
But you were
COVID-19.
ready. You set up that foundation early.
Yes,
I
definitely set that foundation early.
So you have to be proactive. So I just wanted our guests to know that if you're in the middle of figuring out am I going full on with this side hustle, or you already full on and not knowing which entity to use, because that affects your taxes as well. Knowing which entity to use. So that's really great that you are an enrolled agent that knows the long-term tax laws, not just the accounting piece of it, but it all ties in together.
It definitely does.
And it does. And so the other thing I always tell my clients is you want to establish your business banking account.
Yes, that
it
is
gets really sticky when all of the transactions are intermingled together in their personal account. Do you have any comments on clients that you have that are using their personal checking account for their business?
Yeah, so a lot of the clients I work with are solopreneurs, and they might and sole proprietors, where some of them, they don't have an LLC, but like they might just, they do freelance work. They might do like photography work or musician. So they do file their taxes on a Schedule C, but they might have like a personal account where they also use for the business. But I encourage them immediately to get that business bank account and to keep your personal finances out of your your business account, because that's that just creates a mess. Like you're gonna miss out on tax deductions. It's gonna be very hard to know how much money you're making throughout the year. You have all your personal and your business expenses, all together, and that just creating extra work for yourself. Like, why would you want to work harder? Especially as a business owner, you don't have a tremendous amount of time to be doing extra work.
Yes. So you want to be proactive, you want to be efficient, and being organized is the key. But that's where we come into play. That's kind of our zone of genius. Is we're organized. We like Excel spreadsheets.
Yes.
It's funny because we were texting yesterday about the tax issues that were coming up with different people, and I was just like so into it. Like I'm so into tax law and the changes. But what's great about your role as an enrolled agent is that you know which schedules and form to use on top of a 1040. A lot of people go into these Googling and DIY their taxes, and they are missing out on tax deductions.
Yes.
And then they're putting in the wrong numbers too. And they're probably paying more taxes than they should, going to the point that they're intermingling those business transactions with their personal, and they don't know how to extract that. Did I get stuck?
What happened?
Oh, I don't know. I can't. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Oh, okay, good.
Good.
Yeah. I just wanted people to know that when you intermingle your transactions, it's really hard to extract them from what needs to be in your taxes and what you're going to be taxed on.
Yeah. You get paying a lot more taxes when you have your personal finances and your business finances mixed all together. Because you can, like, cause I see like what I've seen doing bookkeeping. I see people constantly transferring money from their personal to the business account and back and forth, where to the point where they don't even know like what's income. Like that's they might be transferring money from like a spouse's account, and then if they don't know any better, they can record that as income and actually be paying taxes on that money, when it's not income. So yeah, so that's you highlighted some really important parts.
Yeah, so how would you advise? That's really a great, because that's what's happening to my clients as well. They're doing those transfers to their business and personal checking accounts, but they're not identifying it as what it is.
Right.
How do you advise your clients on what to do with those transactions?
I think with those transactions, you want to set yourself like a schedule. So you don't want to just be randomly transferring money, but like if it's let's say it's owner's pay, like if you want to pay yourself like every 2 weeks. So if you see a transfer of money from like $2,000 to your business account, every other Friday, that's your pay. So I think it's just setting up a regular schedule of doing that, and not just just randomly transferring money, because it's just really hard to keep up with. Like trying to keep up with your accounting like on a daily basis is extremely difficult. So just setting up like a schedule, and then setting up some time like every 2 weeks or every month to actually sit down and review your books and write notes about transactions. And I try to like me personally, like I streamline all my income. So I have clients pay me via QuickBooks.
Yes.
So I know like that's when I use, like I'm not using like Venmo. I'm not using all those different payment sources. I have clients pay me through one method. So that makes it a lot easier for me to keep track of my income.
Oh, that's good advice. That's really good advice. Well, I have my Venmo and my Cash App directly tied into my business account.
Yeah, you can do that.
Which our friend Audria at Comerica Bank said that wouldn't be good because there's a lot of fraud happening on Cash App
that's right.
and Venmo. And so I was like, okay, well, I may need to change that. But you do want to make your clients have an accessible way to pay you. You don't want to make it difficult for them to pay you.
Right, no.
Yeah, if they're ready with
they
the
get
money,
an emailed invoice. Click on the invoice and pay.
Yes. Yeah, don't make it difficult. Well, let me do XYZ. And then if they have the money ready to pay you, you got to take that money. But definitely, I love the idea of having a schedule of owner's pay. Can you go into that? Because a lot of people, that was on one of the tax forums, the tax threads, is the owner was advised to set up a payroll account and do an S Corp when all they needed to do was owner's pay.
Oh, okay. So you said you had a client that was advised to set up an S corporation?
Yes, so they advised her, and this was through a payroll vendor.
Okay.
They told her, oh, well, she didn't know that you could just transfer money out of your business account on a schedule, like you just advised, as owner's pay.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need you can be an LLC without an S Corp on top and pay yourself owner's pay. You don't need to have a payroll platform do that for you and set up an S Corp because it's just more administrative fees. If you're
that's a lot of people, they don't realize that. Because I think you and I were talking yesterday that we see a lot of like influencers and people on social media giving out, tax advice, especially in, this era we're in. Like everybody thinks they're like they can get. I mean, you can own a business, but I mean, I don't know every single thing about business. Like I own a business, but I don't know every single thing about business. But you see a lot of people that are getting like tax advice from, people that are not tax professionals and they're just taking it and running with it. Or like even if you get information from a tax professional or accountant, you know what I'm saying, it may not be tailored to your specific situation. So you always want to schedule a consultation just to get information based on your particular situation. Like an S Corp, that's like a very effective tax saving strategies, but it's not good for every business owner. Nope. I mean, it may save you money on self-employment tax, but then you'll also be paying like payroll. You have to like maintain stricter bookkeeping controls. Yes. Like it can end up costing you more in the long run. And if you're not following, like if you're not maintaining payroll or doing bookkeeping, then it opens you up to audit, and it could create a mess if you're not, if you're not getting advice from a professional on how to set it up and how to maintain the entity. Right.
And my advice to people is establish your business. You don't have to get an S Corp immediately with your LLC.
Right.
You have to know your financials. You have to establish some types of sales forecasting and routine and pattern, because you don't know, it may be a great business plan on paper, but until you actually have clients paying you and invoices going out and the consistency of the payment, you don't know if that S Corp is really going to work for you and be an advantage. You may be setting yourself up for failure. That's why you need to speak with an accounting and finance professional to look over your transactions on a more regular basis. So the other question I have for you is that with the sales tax in play, business owners have to pay a quarterly sales tax, right? Yes. So do most of your clients that come to you, are they aware of that?
No, they are not. And then a lot of clients are, so I do have some clients that are not aware that they have to pay sales tax, but then they also don't understand the difference between income taxes and sales tax. So when you're going to a tax professional in February or March, they're preparing your income tax return. You're not hiring them to do your sales tax returns. Because a lot of, like, I had one client that was like kind of, she was upset with her previous accountant because she had went to her to get her taxes done. She said she didn't tell her about sales tax. And I told her, like, well, income tax and sales tax are different. Just because you hire somebody to do your annual income tax return, they're not going to tell you about sales tax. I mean, I try to, because like I consider myself an advisor, so I try to give them a heads up, like, okay, are you selling a product? Do you know you're supposed to collect sales tax? But a lot of people are like just kind of clueless. But I think as a business owner, there's some research that you're going to have to do like on your own, because you're going to have to, we don't know what we don't know. So it's important to do some research on before you even open your business, do some research on some of the tax laws and compliance. And then you have questions, so you know what's to ask your accountant or your business advisor. If you're informed, and your accountant or business advisor are able to give you like more information, So you have to. I mean, you can't be totally clueless and expect to pay somebody to do your tax return. They're supposed to tell you everything about your business.
Correct. Yeah. And that's why I do these lunch and learns, to educate business owners. But the other thing is, I don't know if you do this for your clients, but I do training sessions with them. I want them to know where everything is going and how it becomes a tax deduction and what it's going to look like at the end of the year. So I do the monthly end of month financials. Some of my clients, I do, weekly transactions, and then we do an end of month balance sheet and profit and loss statement, but what that looks like, so you can be prepared. My biggest thing is for my clients to be proactive in regards to their expenses.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And part of your expenses as a business owner is paying your taxes.
Yes.
Yeah,
so my best plan for that.
Yes.
You're making money, you gotta pay the IRS. No free lunch.
No, there's no free lunch. No, and that's a lot of people don't realize this, but the government's biggest revenue stream is the IRS. It's taxes. But the good thing is that the tax code is written for the small business owner. So, it's,
and the IRS, they're not going to tell you about a tax deduction you're not going to take. They say, oh, they're not going to look at your schedule. See, like, oh, you're a business owner. Do you use your cell phone for business? You know what? I'm going to give you some time to revise your tax return so you can add your cell phone expenses, internet expenses. The IRS is not going to do that. They're not.
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah,
you have to know that on your own.
You're giving us too much
money. Or a tax hire a professional who knows those, rules.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, the IRS isn't going to tell you you're giving them too much money. They're going to expect you. Well, but the other thing with working with business owners, we are expecting you to tell us what this money means when you come at the end of the year with all of your bank statements, and then we have to figure it out. We didn't know that you did a payment to your health insurance, or you did a loan to your uncle through your business account. So make sure you're at least going over your transactions monthly.
Yes.
I would say just do a monthly, or I always say weekly because it's easier. You can take an hour a week to see what's going in and out of your business checking account.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love the idea of the owner's pay scheduled. So, and if any of you guys have any questions after this, please, we'll give you guys our information if you have any questions. So with that, doing the preparations in regards to your transactions throughout the year, will that help with their tax strategy at the end of the year?
Yeah, so it's always better just to keep track of your bookkeeping throughout the entire year, not to wait till tax time. A lot of people think that a lot of business owners that I come across think the only reason why they should be doing their bookkeeping and accounting is for tax purposes. While that's not true, keeping track of your bookkeeping and accounting will help you to save money on tax deductions, will help you to save money on taxes, but that's not the only reason why you should be keeping track of your bookkeeping and finances. You want to know if you're making money. You don't want to waste your time in a business and you have no clue, that you're losing money until like the end of the year, until the next year when you file your tax return.
Yeah, that's called a hobby.
Yes, true, very true. So
if you're losing money with something you're playing with, that's called a hobby. You're not running a business.
Okay. So, I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to speak over you.
Oh, okay.
So what?
Yeah, I have a bad habit of doing that, so just I'm going to be very cautious.
No, and this is the other reason is that people have a stereotypical view of what an accountant looks like or a tax professional, and so when they see us and they hear us, we're approachable. We're here for you. We are your business advisors. We are your confidant, because that's the other thing is business owners are exposing a lot of information to us. We're getting to see all of the purchases they make, and it says a lot about them, but I want people to know that we're not judging, no judgment zone. We're just here to make your business profitable, successful, and to get you the biggest tax deduction and, you know, maybe a tax refund. So do you have business owners? What's your percentage of business owners getting a tax refund?
So if it's okay, so if a client is just a business owner and they don't have like and they're not also working a full-time job, it's not very likely that they'll get a refund unless they've been paying like estimated, you know, tax payments throughout the year. Or, you know, maybe if they, you know, it depends, like if their income, it depends on like their income level. But, you know, but I do have clients that might, that run a full-time job and then they operate their business on the side. And they say like if their business has a loss, then they're able to offset some of the income from their W-2, and then that may result in a refund or they'll owe less taxes.
Okay. And with all the new tax laws going in effect, is there any changes that we need as business owners we should be looking out for and ask a tax advisor like yourself?
Yeah, so there was some recent tax law changes in the stimulus I don't know what they call it, the American Heroes Act, or the one that just passed this week. So there were a couple of tax law changes that affect this tax season. So one of them is unemployment compensation. So 2020 was like a really strange year, and it could like a difficult year for some, you know, for some business owners. So a business owner was eligible to, some business owners were eligible to collect unemployment in 2020. So so with the new the stimulus bill, they made the first $10,000 of unemployment is not taxable.
Okay.
So you get to save, you know, some money on taxes if you are unemployed. So that's one of the tax law changes. And then there was another one that also affect small business owners. So so with small business owners, you're responsible for paying for your, you know, your own health insurance.
Yes.
And so with that, there's many business owners that get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act.
Mm-hmm.
So you apply for the insurance from the ACA plan, the Affordable Care Act, and if at the end, like, so you apply for it based on what you expect your income to be. So when you actually file your taxes and you get a credit, Okay, so you apply for it based on what you expect your income to be. If you fall in a particular income range, you may get a credit, which will actually reduce the amount of your health insurance premiums. But when you go and file your taxes, if let's say you end up like having a great year and you made a lot more money than you expected, then you're responsible for paying that credit back.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but with the tax law changes they have recently made as part of the new stimulus plan, they have it where you don't have to pay that. You don't have to pay that money back if you made more money than what you expected to make.
Okay, so you can maintain that credit.
Yeah, you can maintain that credit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then do you? I think we've already spoke about, but what are the main obstacles you see business owners making in their accounting practices? Did we already speak to that?
Yeah, we kind of spoke to some of the things. I think like just not keeping track of their, you know, accounting throughout the year, not setting aside that time weekly like you have suggested, or, you know, monthly, and just only like doing like the purpose of bookkeeping for tax purposes. So I think that's the main thing I see they're making. They're not just setting outside the time, or they're not investing in their business. I think all business owners should look at their business as an investment. So you want to invest in, you know, the trainee. You want to invest in, you know, the professionals. So just like not viewing your business as you know, as a investment, just looking at it as like, you know, a hustle. But you want to like look at it like long term.
Yes, yes. And looking at your that's really good. Don't look at it just as a hustle. Look at it as an investment long term. That's right.
Yes.
That's how you're going to be successful. That's how you're going to, I always use the example as the club. I met my husband at a club and it went out of business because they didn't pay their taxes. Yeah. Yeah, so that happens a lot. Either restaurant owners, you really like a restaurant, it goes out of business because they didn't pay their taxes or something.
Yeah, you see that happens a lot. You see a lot of restaurants in business, they focus on like expanding and growing so quick, and then they're not already like, before you like thinking about expanding to like another location, I think you want to make sure that, you know, your payroll is together, you're paying your taxes, you know, you have a long-term financial and strategic plan. But I see a lot of companies just grow so fast, and then they don't even just do like the basic stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's why it's always good, you know, when you are establishing and putting those foundations down in regards to getting that EIN and the LLC, get business insurance. Some of us don't even have it, and it's so cheap. It's really cheap to get, but you're covered. That LLC is going to cover you, your personal assets. And so there's so many layers that are really easy to do, really easy to get involved in and get your foot in the door. But as small business owners, we don't know these things. We kind of learn by default.
Yes.
And that was the other thing. As an enrolled agent, you're able to see those landmines and those little spillways that people are getting in trouble in, because you've seen it before, so that you can help them mitigate their tax path for their businesses. So I
just have to take like a 1 minute break. So I'm going to stop my video for like 1 minute. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me know if you have any questions for Deanna as we go along. But one of the big things I want to remind everyone that is on the call is that she said to make sure to do a schedule for your owner's pay. I'm not sure how many individuals that we have on the call today that are sole prop LLCs, or if you don't have your LLC yet, let me know in the chat and maybe we can discuss your example a little better. But if you have an LLC already established, you can pay yourself owner's pay if you don't have that S Corp set up just yet. If you're not at least getting in $10,000 of distributions as of yet, I don't advise getting an S Corp on top of your LLC. That's my own personal advice. Let's see.
Hey, Amy. This is Valerie. I'm not a business owner. I'm actually my manager is Andrea, the one that you just talked about with like the Venmo and Cash App. Yeah, but you're hitting it like right on the marker, especially like separating your business between personal. That's a huge thing. So little things like that, a lot of business owners, like especially if they're new, they don't know that yet. So that's really good, you guys, to bring that up.
And Valerie, is Comerica able to establish business accounts for anybody in the US, or do you have to be here in the Austin area to go into your bank location?
Normally, you would have to be in the Austin area, because we have to have you sign like a signature card and all that stuff, and you have to be present for all that. But if you're in a different state, we can definitely, and we have a Comerica there, we could definitely work something out on that end.
If you don't mind, Valerie, can you put your information in the chat to make sure that other business owners, if they need banking advice, they can go to you in regards to setting up a business checking account. Definitely. You can advise them with that and what that means and what that entails, because there are some restrictions. You know, what is the balance that you will need to keep, or you know, how much money do you need to have in your business banking account to start with? So
definitely, I will definitely do that right now. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, Miss Deanna, we're back, and Valerie works at Comerica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she was coming on to let us know in regards about, you know, the importance of having that business checking account. Okay. And what that means.
Which Comerica do you work at, Valerie?
I work at the one over here at Palmer with Andrea.
Oh, yeah. I know Andrea. Yeah. Yeah, she's really like, yes, I established a bank account at Comerica. So I have a second bank account at the Comerica Bank. Yeah, Andrea, she's really like, she's really great at community building and supports small business owners.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, that's what Comerica is all about. It's not where we just do like a number play game. It's really, this is what our niche is. Every bank has their focus, and honestly, Comerica is all about business.
Yes.
That's awesome. I had that was one of my other kind of tips that I give business owners: know your banking representative. If they know you, they can go into your business checking account and see if they can help you, if there's any resources and tools that the bank can give you, because there could be a credit card or a loan, you know, but if they know you personally, you could have that in, you know. So that's always good advice, to know your banker. The other thing, Deanna, so that goes to play with QuickBooks, because I know you're both a QuickBooks and Xero partner, as I am, but everything feeds into QuickBooks. It's like a no-brainer. Once you establish your QuickBooks account, your banking transactions go right into QuickBooks. And so that we can see, if you, as certified pro advisors, we can see all of your transactions. We don't need access to your bank account per se, but we can see the transactions coming in to those accounts. And we're able to allocate those funds to the correct account, so that when it comes to tax times, we know what's a business deduction, you know, where everything goes, and everything comes into play. And the other thing with accounting and finance professionals, it's a tax deduction.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely it's an investment in your company, having a tax professional and accounting professional on your side, in your corner. What do you think your biggest accomplishment as a business owner has been?
I think I think my biggest accomplishment, or I know my biggest accomplishment, was just taking a leap. So I took the leap into full-time entrepreneurship in 2020, in January of 2020. At that time, I did not know that about the COVID pandemic is gonna like change businesses forever.
Yeah.
And all the different stimulus acts that were gonna be passed, and about the Paycheck Protection Program. So that was I think that was the biggest accomplishment was taking the leap. Well, I think in 2014, when I originally started the business, even if I was doing, I did it part-time as my business. Had I not started it in 2014, I wouldn't be a full-time entrepreneur now. So that was a big accomplishment. But in 2020, it just it gave me a tremendous opportunity, because in 2020, everybody was working virtually and working from home. At that time, I was meeting a lot of I had some clients that I worked with virtually, but I was doing a lot of meeting clients in person to gather their tax information. But then after that, more people were comfortable with working virtually, doing everything through Zoom. So they gave me a tremendous opportunity. And then also with all the different stimulus, loan programs and grant programs for small business owners, I was able to be a resource, a true resource to the small business community. I was able to help small business owners apply for PPP loans, apply for business grants. And I was even able to help my family members that were, business owners, apply for this funding. So it was just I feel like I was fulfilling my purpose. It was 2020 was an opportunity for accountants to shine. Everybody was looking for an accountant in 2020. They wanted to get their financials together so they could go apply for this loan, for this grant. They wanted to get their tax returns done so they could get their stimulus act. It was just really a tremendous year for accountants, as I'm sure you could attest to as well, Amy.
Yes. But that's why I started my business, is because
was it? Okay.
It was my silent protest. I was seeing so many small business owners not get this PPP loans and funding, and I've been a grant accountant as well, and I'm like, there's money out there. But if they don't have their financials in order, they weren't able to prove, that they could use this money. And if the other thing, and Valerie, if you want to chime in, but if a banker sees that you don't know how to handle your finances with this small amount, it's going to be hard for you to get that loan of the bigger amount.
True, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yes, going back to what you said, Amy, that's very true. And a lot of our customers, they were hurting because when they were trying to file for the PPP, they were getting declined because they had their personal and then their business expenses all on one sheet. So they were like, well, we don't know which one to differentiate from the business and from you. So that was a huge thing.
Yeah, it's like a hurdle. I mean, because we're getting the information from you. You guys are the business owners. This is your baby. So we're just here to help you figure out the best way forward. So if you don't know what you're doing with your taxes, then we don't know how to help you in the future. So definitely having that personal relationship with an accountant, and I can say it again and again, but a tax professional, it will help you in the long run as a business owner. Deanna, can you type in your information in the chat for everyone, just in case, you know, they want to use your expertise and knowledge. But just know that I do these monthly once again, so we will be bringing you some more information. And then what is your, so I know a lot of people are non-filers. Can you tell us what that means and those obstacles that non-filers have to overcome?
So you're saying tax filers? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you so for non-tax filing, for one, they were not able to access the stimulus fund if they didn't file your taxes. Like one of the requirements where you had to file your 2019 taxes. So that's missed money. And then also, if you're a business owner or you're operating like a side hustle, if you don't file your taxes, you have no proof that you actually own a business. So like when it's coming to like applying for grants and you saying they asking for a copy of your tax return, you saying you don't have a copy of your tax return, like what kind of business are you running? So I mean, it's just very important to file your taxes, but then also know like, you know, it's not too late. You know what I'm saying? I do have clients that have not filed their taxes, but you know, it's not too late to get it right. You can get started on the right track. You know, there's no judgment zone, you know, when it comes to me. Like if you come to me and say, you know, you didn't file your taxes in 3 or 4 years, like, okay, let's get started. Let's get to calling the IRS. Let's get your wage and income transcripts. Let's get you on the right track. But you definitely want to have, like, you want to file your taxes. You want to have some proof of your income. And you mean, in this, the law, like you're supposed, if you're making money, you're going to have to report that to the IRS.
Yes. And that was I want that to be a takeaway, because so many people don't ask for advice because they haven't filed their taxes yet. So they feel that they're going to be judged or there's no way out. It's been too long. And yes, it's going to be an obstacle to overcome when you haven't filed your taxes on a consistent basis. So just be prepared that that could be an issue, but it's not something that can't be overlooked, you know, not overlooked, but overcome. So just wanted to point that out because so many people haven't filed their taxes in 3 to 5 years, and it's intense. So to wrap up, we're going to wrap up. Does anybody have questions before I do my 3 takeaways? If everybody can put their contact information in the chat, we can follow each other on Instagram and kind of promote each other's business if possible. So if you want to, please add your contact information and your social media handles in the chat for everyone. My big 3 takeaways from this conversation is LLC SOPROPs need to schedule owner's pay. You don't have so many transfers don't need to happen. It confuses everybody. So just do maybe 2 biweekly or a monthly owner's pay scheduled to yourself. The other thing is there's a difference between sales tax in your business and income tax. Sales tax is due quarterly. That's every 3 months. And income tax is due annually. So make sure you're paying both as a business owner. And the other takeaway is establish a business bank account as soon as possible to prevent headaches later. And always, always, always have a accounting and tax professional on your side to help you proactively throughout the year. I can't emphasize that enough. We're here to help. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help you be successful. Is there anything I missed, Deanna, that you want to add?
Treat your business as an investment. Treat your business as an investment. Invest the time, invest the money, invest the education, and invest in a professional. Like, your business is going to be your biggest investment. Like, a lot of times, like, you see people like looking to invest in the stock market. So when you're investing in the stock market, you're investing in the stock of another business. So if you're going to, you know, take the time to invest in the stock market, you can put those same funds in your own business. Like, just treat your business as an investment. And like my business started as a side hustle, but I didn't continue to run my business as a side hustle. You know, I knew I wanted to long term. I wanted to be, you know, run my business as a business. It's like I don't plan on selling my business anytime, but I wanted to operate my business as if I were going to, you know, settle. Like, if, you know, maybe something can happen where I could get sick or something. Like, so I want to have like the accounting and processes in place in case somebody else would be able to take over. So treat your business as an investment, because it can make you, it can be very rewarding. It can